Alright folks, how's it going? I am Doctor McFarland. Got caught in a little bit of traffic coming home from work, so I'm a little bit late, but it's fine. This setting never gets remembered for some reason, so let me turn up the volume here on my microphone. I do have a Rode. What is this? This is the NG3 something. I don't know, whatever this is. This is a shotgun mic, so it can be a little bit farther away from my mouth and still pick up audio pretty well and all that. Let me turn on my TV here. So let's discuss some John Mayer tunes. Let's talk about maybe some tones of John Mayer, and we can take any other questions that you may have. I do have a 43-inch TV in front of me. It's 4K, but I'm pretty sure I use it. Let's see what my settings are here. What are my settings for this TV? Displays. Looks like it's 1296. The default's 1080. That can't be right. That can't be right. That's what it says though. More space is 2160. So maybe it's not a 4K TV. I'm not sure. I can change the refresh rate. It's only 30 hertz. Anyway, regardless of what it is, it's big. It's beautiful. It's right in front of me. It works really well. And that means I can move this thing off onto this other screen so it's out of my way. This is the Kiesel Delos in classic black, and it has some lithium pickups in here that are actually pretty nice. And I'm going to try out these headphones a little bit more. I am playing through my Headrush Core at the moment. Also have a Blackstar Live Logic custom USB MIDI control hooked up to it. So I can do cool things like this. I can turn on and off different things and whatnot, which you can't see in particular. Because there may be some things on there that you're not allowed to see yet, so who knows. Not saying anything, nor or again, yay or nay about that, but I have a few S-style guitars at the moment, and right now, these lithium pickups are just doing it for me. They give me the very classic, single coil sound. I can go to my 4 position. Go to the middle position. And here's the 2 position, which is technically taking the humbucker and doing a split coil of that. So And then we have the one position, which is full humbucker or bridge. Now, if I get really crazy, I may drill a small hole right here in between these two volume and the tone knob. And I will put a mini toggle switch that will allow me to split the coil of this humbucker. So even if I'm in position 1, I can either choose to have this in humbucker or single coil mode. And then possibly I can change the tone knob, because maybe I don't need it to roll off the high end all the time. I can actually change the tone knob to where if I'm on the bridge, I can blend in however much of the neck pickup that I want, or vice versa. If I'm on the neck pickup, I can blend in however much of the either humbucker bridge or single coil bridge that I want, and still get the other positions sounding cool. So anyway, that might be a fun project in the future, but it's nothing I really need to do right now because it already sounds, it sounds good. So here's a lead sound on the bridge. This is a Bogner red channel. Then I can go back and here's my clean tone again. This happens to be a MS-30 amplifier. If you are a part of the HTS Rigs course that I have on, let me actually turn down this preamp a little bit. I feel like I'm clipping. Just clipping a little bit there. I'll turn the fader all the way up. How about that? If you're part of the HTS Rigs course on my website, that means that you have paid your one-time fee and you were able to go download all previous, present, and future rigs that I build for the live stream, which is the headrush rigs. And in the August live stream, I basically took a bunch of amplifiers and made the best clean tone option out of those I could. And there's some good options in there. So there's a Princeton reverb. Here's an MS-30, which does have the ability to get a little hairy and or full on rock and roll. If I take the gain or the volume in this case and just crank it up. So pretty good. And if I take my volume knob and roll it down, right, I could even take it all the way down to like 2. Even go to my the neck position. There's a recent video of Cooper Carter that does all the fractal stuff. He showed how he uses a Morgan AC20, which is very much in that Vox matchless kind of realm. He uses the AC20 to get everything from clean tones all the way to full on overdrive and anything in between. And I feel like that the MS-30 on the headrush is a very, very good example of an amp that can go really clean to really dirty, anywhere in between. And you could have 2 amps in the rig and just switch between them, or you can use your volume knob on your guitar to back off the gain or back off the volume, therefore reducing the gain to the front end of the amp and cleaning up that way. Or you could have a volume pedal hooked up. And when you have the hill down, especially on a digital device, you can set, even though the hill is all the way down, it didn't have to be set at 0%. It could be set at, I want the hill to be 50% and then the toe to be 60 to 70% or whatever you want that to be. I think he demonstrates that in his video as well. You could also take a graphic EQ and have it to where when the graphic EQ is on, you're actually reducing the gain of that EQ and therefore lowering the gain to the front end of the amp. Or you could take a clean amp and maybe boost it really, a lot and add more gain and drive to an amplifier that way. So there's many different ways to change the gain structure with different gain staging, either before or after the amp. And this is not a fractal thing. It's not a headrush thing. It's not really even a digital modeler concept. It's just something that you can apply across the board to tube amps, solid state amps, digital modelers, whatever you have at your disposal, whether that's a practice room, a living room, maybe you're just a bedroom player, whatever. It's just a concept that you can apply to literally all guitar setups out there in the world as we know it. So, at one point there was a few people watching, but there was only one person watching. So, if you are watching right now, leave your name, where you're from, so I can kind of get to know you if I don't already know you already. And leave a question below or in the comments so I can respond and we can have this nice back and forth here on the live stream. I would like to stop the live stream maybe about 10 after, since I started the live stream at 10 after 4. Because I'm trying to really keep this about 1 hour of time, so that way it's not just constantly dragging on and on. But had something in my mouth I had to spit it out. Sorry. So that is the MS-30 amp back on the cleaner side of things. I could go kind of in the middle. So if it was at 40%, or let's say 50% before and all the way up is 100%, let's just go somewhere in the middle. Let's go to like 75 and see what that sounds like here. So okay, so it's kind of hairy sounding. I could put it on the bridge pickup and it would just be a good rock sound. Okay. Now, if you already start with that sound, yes, you can clean up the sound by rolling off the volume on your guitar or with a volume pedal. But maybe if you already have some overdrives on your pedal board, for instance, or in the chain of a digital modeler, then you just might want to have the amp be relatively clean and then just boost it with pedals or whatever you want. So here's a sheriff pedal on the headrush on the bridge pickup. Okay, I can turn that off and then go back to the amp and crank it all the way up again. One thing you notice there is the more gain you have on the amp, the less bass that you need. So that was a lot of bass right there. So let's actually cut the bass all the way off. Maybe not roll off as much as the cut parameter on that amp. Okay, so now you hear the difference versus the bass where it was at 50%. Okay, just way too much bass for that amount of gain that we have. So we'll just turn it down. And I literally just turned it all the way down. I mean, if you want to experiment with going like 20% or 10% or 30%, wherever you want, it doesn't matter. Just roll it all the way down and just kill the bass so you get that nice tight gain sound. Okay, that sounds good to me. Now obviously if we go back the other way, maybe I'll just bring the bass up to 40% this time and turn the sheriff back on. Maybe I'll bring the gain up on the pedal a little bit more. Maybe bring the treble back up. Okay, that does sound good. Now at this point, you have to decide: do you it's like a mental struggle. Do you prefer to have dirt on the amp, or do you prefer to have dirt from a pedal going into a clean amp? And that's kind of where the contention is for me. Is if I just close my eyes, just everyone do this with me, like. Close your eyes out there on internet land, right? Close your eyes and just listen to a sound without even knowing what is making that sound and determine, yes, that is a perfectly viable overdrive sound that it doesn't matter if it came from a second channel of an amp or a cranked one channel amp or from a pedal. I like that sound, so therefore I am fine using that sound however it is, right? Now, here is the Bogner lead sound. Let me turn off this delay here. Okay, so it sounds thicker, but there's also a lot more bass response to it. So let me turn down the bass just like I did on the MS-30. Let's just turn it all the way down. Okay, it is what it is. There's not the bright switch is not on, and the treble and the presence are kind of high, but it still sounds kind of dark to me. So let's go back to my this kind of sound. Okay, that sounds higher, and you know, as in more treble. So let me turn the treble down on the pedal. Okay, then I can actually keep that the way it is and then just go straight to my lead sound. Now, both are perfectly fine sounds. The Bogner lead channel is a little bit darker. I could probably stand to bring the treble up more, maybe the presence up more. Okay, that's a great sound. But so is this one. That one might be a little bit louder, maybe. I could easily turn down the volume of the pedal. Let me bypass it real fast. So that way when you kick in the pedal, it doesn't just like have tons of volume. You have gain, but you don't have more volume than the bypass state. All right, here's the lead sound again. All right, very thick, very woolly. Here's the Sheriff overdrive. Okay, now let me go ahead and tune real fast. If I were to record those two tones on two separate tracks and had bass, drums, maybe a keyboard, maybe some vocals, tambourine, whatever. Those two sounds right there would complement each other really well because one's kind of bright and one's kind of darker. But when you record them, then pan them hard left and right in the stereo field, this is more like a production kind of thing. You kind of want not drastic tones, but I mean, it can be drastic. But you kind of want opposing sounds in the mix. So that way you can actually tell them apart in the mix. And you can hear that, okay, yes, one is brighter, one's darker, but they complement each other. Okay. So it's a very similar thing to where you're playing in a band, either in a practice space or on stage at a venue. You do not want the exact same sound as your compadre over across the other side of the stage. If he's using greenbacks in his speaker, you might want to use vintage 30s. If he's using a Marshall, you might want to use a Fender or some other thing that's not a Marshall. Or maybe you want to use a Vox in a Marshall, or maybe one guy's using a Vox and you want to use a Fender, or maybe you want to use a PV Classic 30, or just something totally different. So that way, whatever his mid-range is doing in the mix, your guitar is kind of filling in the opposite frequencies of what he's providing. So that way you get this nice full sound, and you're complementing each other in the mix. That's what you want, essentially. Now, if you're in a metal band and both amps are just scoop the mids all the way down and it's all highs and lows, I mean, it's really going to sound like crap. It's not going to sound that great at all. And I should be tuning right now. And you're not going to have any punch at all in the sound. So even though it's the typical philosophy or mindset that, okay, if I'm playing metal, I want to scoop the mid so I have this nice chunky kind of whatever sound. Well, you don't want to get rid of all the mids. I mean, you want some mids in there so you can actually punch through the mix. Because there's something that Colt Caparoon said, and many others have said throughout the years, but the magic is in the mid-range. And if you can learn to hone in the sound of the mid-range of your vocals, your guitars, your kick drum, your bass, all that stuff, and make them sit really well in the mix together, by the time you add in your lows and your highs, you should have a very balanced, very powerful sounding mix that will cut through in any band, and any band will sound really good with the right amount of mid-range happening, just with the overall mix of the band. So let that be a lesson to you guys. For all 2 people who are watching of this, you should be subscribing to the channel right now if you're not already. You should be clicking the bell, because I'm just giving away like amazing tips that you can use for your band, for your recording, for all the stuff. So anyway, just all for free. Just take it for free. I don't care. Let's go back to us cleanish content. Try a little stereo doubler here. Now, a stereo doubler is really cool because it takes a single guitar and it widens out your sound to where you have just this left and your right kind of thing going on. So all right, let me take the width all the way out. Here we go. Okay, I can also bring up the intensity. Obviously, that's a little bit too much. Let's go 50% in the middle. I know it's too much, right? But that's the separation parameter was at 200 milliseconds. Let's bring it down to like 100. See what that does. Let's take it down even more to like 50-ish. Okay, so now we're kind of getting that chorusy kind of effect going on with it. Let's go down to like 20%. Okay, let's take the intensity down to like 30%. I can't play, I don't know. Okay, then if I loosen up the width a little bit, maybe back to 50%. So it's just, there's different ways to thicken up the sound using a doubler, using a chorus pedal, even a vibrato at very light settings. That can take a single guitar and just make it sound a little bit bigger than it already does. So. Turn it back off. Oh yeah, we're doing good now, folks. All right, let me ask, don't let me. Go ahead and ask your questions in the comments because I will be answering them right now. Let me check my YouTube channel. We should be live. Everything's going live. I mean, there's people watching, at least one person watching. Let me just check the status of my live stream here. And we'll go to content. We'll go to live. And yes, I am public and I'm live. So come on in, folks. Come in, come all. Let's talk about some John Mayer stuff. So my student wanted to learn Neon by John Mayer, which is a pretty intricate song, if you ask me. There's a lot of popping and muting with the right hand technique. But the basic chords are just going like this. They're going C minor, E flat, F minor, then A flat, B flat. It's just right. So despite the 16th note nature of the song, you can take it and you can slow it down way, way farther to where like you are one. All right. That was horrible, I know. But John Mayer's version, he actually takes the low E string and tunes it down to C. So he has this going. I'm trying to play it without the detuning of the low E string. So I'm just doing the then. So I'm trying to take the notes and just kind of reimagine them somewhere else on the fretboard. So it's a little bit easier to play. You're not getting the same kind of feel that he does because all the popping and locking and all the stuff. But I do like that chord though. It's kind of fun. So we're doing a That would be a C over, what would that be? I'm off. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, that's just the G chord with the B in the bass. But if you take the B flat in the bass, that's just a like a G minor kind of thing, or a B flat over B flat 9, or a B flat 4 chord or something. Yeah, so those are the chords. Back in high school, long time ago, like 30 years ago, I would sit down and listen to like Boston and other classic rock bands, and I would like try to figure out the chord progressions and the solos, and I would write them down. Like I would chart them, not chart them. I would transcribe them down on a staff paper. And it's just a good way to like ear train and stuff. Like doing like a right, that whole thing. Just a Peace of Mind by Boston. Right. Or so that, once again, that obviously has more mid-range to it. So now it doesn't sound exactly like the song, I know, but it's fine. So I mean, same goes for you know, like Crazy Train or something. So now if you take this kind of tone versus this kind of tone, I would think that the more mid-rangey tone fits better with the song. Even though I really hate the tone of that song, is the guitar tone is horrible to me. It sounds like a microphone's like 10 feet away from the amp, and you're getting all this room sound and all this stuff. It's not a very modern sounding recording to my ears. So if someone's trying to recreate that exact tone on the record, I'm like, why? You can do so much better than trying to get the tone of Crazy Train. Now, to me, what is much harder is playing the song with all the techniques that Randy Rhoads does, like all the tapping and all the hammer-ons and pull-offs and all the stuff. But you know, just taking the basic song and just right. And sometimes it's good to slow things down and really make sure you're plucking everything nice and clean. So when you do speed it up, right, it just makes way more sense and it sounds a lot cleaner. I mean, you can play it slow, then play it fast, versus playing it fast wrongly and then trying to make up for your mistakes and try to go back and slow it down, and then learning it the correct way, i.e. the slow way, and then speed it up gradually till you can get it right. So all right, 5 people. I know you have questions. I know you have a question for me. This is why I go live. I mean, I can just sit here and play guitar for an hour, and maybe you like that. It's definitely not. You don't definitely like looking at my face for. No, don't look at this face. Look at the guitar. Just the guitar. That's all you need. But if you give me a question to answer, then I can see. Now we got this back and forth thing going. That's really fun, and this is why I do that. So. Let's talk about my favorite pentatonic box real fast, just because it's something that popped in my head. Now, pentatonic is a 5-note scale that is essentially taking out the 4 and the 7 of a major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take out the 4 and the 7, which is the notes with your half steps. So 3 to 4 is a half step, 7 to 1 is a half step. If you take out the 4 and the 7, that gives you whole, whole, then minor third, whole, minor third. And it's just a very repeatable scale. So, right, you got first note, up a whole step, up a whole step, up a minor third, up a whole step, up a minor third. So that would be the major pentatonic. And then if you start on the 6th of that scale, you got this. Okay. So that's where you get your major pentatonic, your minor pentatonic. And then if you're playing over like a blues shuffle, like a... So you can always play minor over a major progression, but you can't play major over a minor progression. It just doesn't work. Because it's the way the major 3, the... Go to the 5 chord. Right, so my favorite pentatonic shape, though, I think, is when the if I play it in A, was when the root note is on the B string. I just like that shape for some reason. So you got flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, 5. But of course, you can play this box, right? Which is the one everyone knows. They learn that first usually. Then they can slide into the top half of the next box, which is really the B.B. King area. And then from there, you got my favorite box. Then you got the box after that. Then the last box is. Then you're back to the first box. Right, so there's all 5 boxes, and you can really interchange them out up and down the fretboard depending on what key you're in and just the kind of licks that you want to play. And that's just what I like to do. So as you're learning either John Mayer or John Mayall, which is another blues guy that played with Eric Clapton back in the 60s, learning these songs become way easier if you already know the vocabulary and the scales that they are derived from. That's really what helped me kind of figure out by ear this Neon song by John Mayer. I did have to go and look at the sheet music just to kind of fill in some of the gaps, because the right hand is so like intricate what it's doing. But just taking the right hand out of the equation, just learning the chords themselves, the right? There's always an underlying chord progression, regardless of how busy either the vocal melody is or the guitar, notes are on top. There's always a bass line that gives you the root chords of what's being played. So it does make it really easy to learn songs that way. Let's say you're driving down the road and you hear a song come on the radio. Even if you don't have a frame of reference for what key it's in, your ear should eventually, if you're studying this, the whole music theory thing, your ear should start becoming accustomed to hearing what a 1 chord is, what a 6 minor chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord. Does it start on a major chord or a minor chord? And if it does start on a minor chord, then more times than not, it is going to be a 6 minor chord. If it's not a 6 minor chord, maybe they start on a 2 minor, then they go to a 5 chord, which is exactly what they do in jazz music, in R&B music, any genre that's not pop. I mean, you can start on a 2-5-1, like in country or something, but it's kind of rare, especially this modern country stuff. But if you've ever heard anything like... Yeah, I mean, that could be a country tune if you put some fiddle and a cool country backbeat with it, backbeat. But typically that is what a jazz progression is a 2-5-1, right? Then go down to the 6 minor, you just go back around. You do more of like major 7 chords, dominant 7 chords, minor 7 chords, minor 7 flat 5s, all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, that's more of a music theory type talk. We're not talking about gear at that point. But once you get the gear, you have to play something. Whether you're just sitting down and playing a G chord for 8 hours straight, yeah, that sounds cool. What am I going to do next? Okay, I can go to a C chord. How about a D chord? And let's go back to a G. Okay, now great. Maybe I want to add in some delay at that point. Right? Maybe I want to add in my Sheriff overdrive. Maybe I want to go to a lead sound. What key am I in? Alright, so now I'm just playing the same 3 chords over and over again, but I'm doing it with different tones. Or like a bigger ethereal type thing going on. So unless you're just playing acoustic guitar on your back porch, you can't really change the tones all that much, other than just like different ways of plucking and where you strum the strings, whether it's brighter by the bridge or darker by the neck, kind of thing. But even when you transition over to electric guitar, yes, you can still play the same G, C, and D chords, or E minor, or A minor, or B minor, whatever you're doing. But now you're adding these other textures on top of the chord structure that can provoke different moods of anger and sadness and joy and happiness, whatever. I just literally made that up. Whatever. You know, you get the point, right? Let's go find another rig on here. I am intentionally not showing you my screen because that would be not good. But let's see. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I wanted to keep this set up because I need to make a video with it tonight, but I'll keep it like this for now. Here's like a PV rig that I made at some point. Okay, I'm going to take out the cab. Let's put in a different cab here. Let's do head rush B30. Let's times it by 2. And then let's bring this one there. I've actually started liking the condenser 87 here lately. Maybe. Let's go to 57. Yeah. Let's bring down the lows a little bit. I do have some good news for me. I've had quite a few people buy my HTS Rigs course this month from my website, which is a one-time payment. And you do get all downloads of all previous live stream rigs, past, present, and future. And if you want to help support the channel in any way, do not give me a super chat. Don't even really send me Venmo or anything. I mean, don't do any of that stuff. Just go to my website, find a product that benefits you, and you just buy it. And therefore, you support me directly. You get a nice product that you can use literally for the rest of your life, and we both win. So you can, if you want to help support 2 people at the same time, you can go to the link in the description, which I'll update when this live stream is done. And you can get my my Doc McFarland Sonic DNA IR pack, which is an impulse response pack that me and Greg collaborated on. And it's basically recreating the setup of a vintage 30 and a greenback and a 2x12 cab with 3 different microphone options that you can either, if you have, like, say you had a 57 on one fader and a 121 on the other fader, you're essentially like changing the volumes or the balance of those 2 microphones on the speaker, and therefore getting different sounds or variations of a sound. So If you want a really, really, really good impulse response pack from old Doctor McFarland here, then that is a good option for you. He usually has sales throughout the year, but otherwise it's like a one-time $15 payment, and it's good. It's a good, worthwhile investment to get that. When I'm not using stock cabs on the headrush, I just use my Dr. McFarland IR, one of the IRs from that pack, and it always sounds really good. So, like for example, I can just get rid of this cab here. Go to IR, 1024. I'm going to load in IR. Go to User, Doc McFarland, Doc IRs. And let's go with the greenback with a 5700% and a 121 50%. After I turn the volume back up a little bit here. So yeah, and there's just a slew of others in here. You can go with the greenback with a 421 on it instead of a 57. That's always nice to do. Something like that. So that one has a little bit more upper mid-range bite to it. So, yeah, just all kinds of options there you could throw in. Let's go back to my B30 cab, which is really my, if I'm not using my Doc McFarland IR pack, I'm just using the B30 cab, and it usually sounds pretty good. So that's with the 87 on the speaker on axis, and it works too. So all right, now we have 7 people watching, but no one is chatting in the comments here. And I got like 7 minutes left. I need you folks to participate, guys. Come on. Why do you think I do all this for you? Come on, I need you to talk. I need you to go into the comments, say your name, where you're from, leave me a question, say hi, do something. Maybe you're on your phone and you're driving down the interstate. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not talking to me, and that's a problem. Okay? This is going to be a problem from now on if you don't participate. Because why do I come home early from work at 4 o'clock, go live for you, and you don't ask me any questions? This is very sad. I'd be playing guitar anyway, so don't worry about it. But if you do have a question, I want to hear from you. Okay? Andrew Collins is in the house. Thank you, Andrew, for commenting. You win the grand prize of being the first commenter of the day after an hour of being live already. So now if I turn on, this has a graphic EQ on it. What can I do here? That is cutting a lot of mids on that. So let me take out the mids. Now if I turn on the tube screamer, now this gets even more interesting because now I'm pushing more gain to the front end of the amp. I'm cutting some lows. Knocking off a little bit of the high end as well, and just kind of shaping more of that mid-range sound. Yeah, Neon with a loss of overdrive does not sound good. Let's go to my looper here. Let's go to record and... Yeah, that's not gonna work because I didn't loop it at the correct time. So that's just the way that is. We went from 7 people down to 2 people. They're like, this guy's whack. I'm not gonna watch this guy. Not on Tuesday at 4 in the afternoon. No way, man. I'm not watching this guy at all. Andrew, if you're still watching, what kind of stuff have you been doing here lately? I know you play gigs of some sort. I don't know if you're in a cover band, if you're in a original band. Maybe you're in an original band that can't make money, so you go and play covers. I don't know what you do, but let me know what you're doing. Yeah, my loop didn't land correctly, so it's the way it is. That is the way it is, man. I'm gonna go to a different rig here. Let's go to the Tang one. I like the wiggle stick. I like having wiggle sticks on my guitars. It's just fun. Even if I don't that doesn't really do a whole lot for me, but just taking the stick and just kind of a little shake every once in a while. It's very nice. Once again, Kiesels primarily come with hip shot trims, which is what this is, and it's actually it's kind of flush with the body. Whoops, it's flush with the body, but since there's a cutout cavity all around, it still allows me to go back with the arm and then push it down as well, which is great. And it also allows for the strings to be nice and low, to keep the action low, which is also very awesome. So I can go back or down. You can't do that on a regular Fender. I'm sorry, you just can't. It's not going to happen, folks. And Fender guitars are not going to come stock with stainless steel frets and a carbon fiber truss rod. So there's that. Also, they're primarily not going to have a quarter sawn neck, which means the grain is running straight all the way down the neck, which keeps it very, very strong and not susceptible to temperature changes and stuff like that. So what channel is this? This is channel 2. See if I crank it up. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. All right. I am pretty sure my wife needs to go to the grocery store and she has to be somewhere else tonight. So I will not be, I will cut it off right here. Thanks everyone for chiming in. All one of you. And seriously though, you need to step it up, guys. Come on. And I will be back next week at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I promise I will be here. Last week I did have a family emergency, which hindered me from going live last Tuesday. It's just the way it is. But more times than not, I will be here on Tuesday at 4 o'clock live for about an hour so I can answer questions, kind of play guitar, just kind of unwind for the day and do whatever I want. So appreciate everyone for watching. Please subscribe down below. Click the bell. Check the links in the description. If you want to help support the channel, either through buying a product through my website or buying Impulse Response Pack from Sonic DNA, or going to Zounds.com and doing some shopping, or Sweetwater or Amazon, wherever you like to shop. I have links down to all three. But I am a official affiliate partner with Zounds.com, and I do get more percentage through them as well. So if you want to help support the channel by buying something that you were going to already buy anyways, then just click the link, make your purchase, and then I'll get a small commission from that. Even though that commission will be slightly larger than what I would get through Sweetwater. So just saying, that's the kind of relationship I have with Zounds. I get a little bit more percentage than some other guys. So I do appreciate that if you were to support me that way. And in the meantime, I will see you guys in the next video. Be on the lookout for a MIDI video with the Headrush, a Quilter Labs direct amp video, and some other things coming down the pike. So have a good day, guys. See you later.